gentlemen, I'm here with the one and only, the legend himself, rugged Ronnie Garvin. So we're live on YouTube here, and I'm also pre-recording this on Skype. So later on, I'm going to upload the Skype version, which you will be able to see myself and the legend himself, rugged Ronnie Garvin. But right now, you guys will be seeing me live, and you'll be hearing the legend himself, rugged Ronnie Garvin, and his thoughts on this weekend as far as the theater, the theatrics, the how could we call it? Well, first of all, how you doing this morning, Ron? How's everything?
Oh, I'm doing great. Can't complain. Thank the good Lord every day.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So this morning, well, this weekend, we had two events that happened. We had the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul event, the fight, and we also had the John Jones for UFC 309. So we're gonna get started with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul first. Now, with the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, first of all, I want to start with the streaming situation. I don't know if you had a chance to see the whole event, but I noticed it was crashing a lot. It kept on freezing. You had to reload. It kept on crashing. So I wanted to know your opinion on that. The reason I'm asking you is because the WWE is also going to Netflix now, and they're going to be streaming live, I believe, this month. So do you think that's something that they're going to be able to correct real soon, or we're also going to witness that? Because we had a lot of people. How many people viewed the Jake Paul fight?
They claim it's 200 million or 250 million across the world.
Okay.
Well, that can overwhelm the system.
So now, with that being said, as far as with just that boxing event, now what do you think? Do you think WWE is going to pull that same amount of numbers for the first time, having Raw on Netflix, or maybe even more?
Well, yeah, it could be if it's around the world. There's a lot of population.
Right. Well, also too, because they was having kinks. The reason I was asking, I wonder if they're going to have time to actually fix those issues, because there was a lot of complaints as far as with the freezing, the uploading, the re-uploading, and stuff like that. So, okay, so let's get to the fight. So I don't know if you had a chance to see Mike Tyson train and everything. Mike Tyson was really aggressive, and I know they say punching bags don't hit back, and I've done a little boxing in my days as well. Punching bags don't hit back, pads don't hit back. But the thing that I noticed during his training, he was very aggressive, and he showed a lot of speed in his training as far as being his age. And also, it was just 4 years ago that he fought Roy Jones, just 4 years ago, and he didn't look that bad for his age. So I wondered, what was your thoughts as far as his performance, as far as during that fight with Jake Paul, versus from what you've seen him do during the training?
Well, if you watch somebody training and they only train, like, say, for an hour, or 30 minutes or something, there's nobody fighting back. And yeah, you can look aggressive and you can look in shape, but when you step in the ring and you go the distance for the whole match, I only saw at the very end.
Right.
And I think he looked tired. And I think Jake Paul probably carried him the last part of it. That's what I think.
Right.
I mean, 58 years old, and Jake Paul is much younger. And well, the reputation that he has, I'm talking about Tyson. That's what drew the crowd. That's what drew the customers to watch.
Right.
But it was not that bad of a performance. But I think Jake Paul was easy on him at the end. Right, that's what I think. I might be wrong, but
apparently after the weigh-in that they had, there was a contract that was floating around. They was talking about, and I'm roughly paraphrasing, how Jake Paul was going to win by decision at the end of it was going to go the distance, and at the end he was going to win by decision. Mike Tyson was going to look good the first round, and I can't help but to say that according to that contract, it actually went exactly the way it that we seen live as far as with that. Do you feel like, and I know in professional wrestling, we don't use the word fake. We know better than that. That is predetermined and it's scripted to a certain extent. Do you feel like in boxing there's a strong possibility that that could have happened, or that it does happen in boxing?
Oh yeah, when you got that kind of money and all that, but you know, like you said at the beginning, he was very strong, but that didn't last the whole entire fight. You
Right.
know, and so because you know you got to be in great shape to keep that up for the whole. And that's 58 years old. Even if you want to do it, you know, you're gonna be slowing down halfway through the fight or earlier than that. You know, because I watched Ric Flair when he had his last match, and he was hanging on the ropes, and I just he looked so bad that you know it was pitiful. You know, after you know the guy's career and everything, but Tyson did better than he didn't look like that, but you could tell. I think you could tell he was being carried. You know, because I think Paul could have knocked him out. I
Right.
think so. You know,
Oh, wow.
I I'm not an expert in boxing, but you know, but anything's possible is between two men. You know, who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Another thing I did notice, when Tyson was walking towards the ring, it really had that professional wrestling theatrics. Tyson in boxing, normally if you're injured, like if you have a leg injury, they tell you you're not supposed to, like in my times when I used to do the boxing, if you have a knee injury, you're not supposed to wrap up that knee because you're showing your opponent that you
They'll
have a
go
weak.
after it.
Exactly, exactly. If you have a bad left leg, they're gonna play towards your left, making it hard for you to set up a punch and stuff like that, set up your combination. So I found that very odd that Mike Tyson, being the veteran that he is, he came with his it looked like a bandage, not bandage knee, but one of those black
He brace.
knee braces. Yes, correct. Knee braces. And he actually tripped. He tripped on his way to the ring just to add more of the theatrics to me. I'm just calling it out. That's what I thought, you know. So that way it gives a way out that, oh, he had a bad leg and stuff like that. And that's what fans are actually noticing. They say he had a bad leg, da da da, this and that. And and I also noticed in the first round that a couple of, like, when Mike Tyson does a particular punch combination that he throws to the body and to the head, he lunged at Jake Paul, and it looked like the Mike Tyson of old. And when he lunged at Jake Paul, I believe it was with the left, it was like he froze. Mike Tyson remembered, like, uh-oh, I forgot. If I finish him off quick in this first round, I'm not going to get paid that 20 million. Jake Paul got paid 40 million for that fight, and Mike Tyson got paid 20 million. So I got to ask you, do you put legacy first, or do you put that $20 million first? What would you do in that situation?
I take the biggest part. The hell with the legacy.
Oh man,
I'm
that's
not
it.
a guy for legacy. I go places, people say you're a legend. Well, that's okay. I mean, I'll take, but I don't consider that, you know, uh, that I am, you know. Uh, yeah, that's my personal thought. You know, and legacy to people is, you know, they want to go down in history and, you know, we're all different. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, but I sure take the second part of it. That 40
Eh,
million.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I gotta ask, can you feed your bills with legacy? Can you take care of your
So,
bills?
yeah.
Oh man. Um, okay, so moving forward, as far as with the UFC now, it was UFC 309 that happened Saturday. The Jake Paul and Tyson fight was Friday. Now the UFC, it featured John Jones. Now John Jones, legend himself, he made a return to the ring. And in actuality, I want to read some of the stuff that they said as far as with dealing with the fight. It said that the GOAT is still the king. John Jones retained the heavyweight title on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden in New York in a thrilling fashion against former title holder Stipe, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering the last name, Stipe Miocic. Miocic. Jones put Miocic away with a vicious spinning back kick to the ribs that sent Miocic straight to the canvas and unable to continue. It was beautiful finish for the most decorated champion in the sport's history and a bit of vindication after many were left disappointed in how quickly Jones' dispatch of surreal gain last year that claimed his title, to how he won that title. So the fans was disappointed on how Jones won that title in a, I guess you could call it, in a Mike Tyson-like fashion, because remember Mike Tyson in his prime, he used to finish you in the first round. You couldn't even blink of an eye. So John Jones pretty much finished him real quick. So the fans was disappointed the last time he fought, but this time around they was very happy. So I bring this to your attention because during the interview, they interviewed John Jones, and they asked him his opinion. Well, first, before I go there, they did bring up the fact of the Mike Tyson. They asked him his opinion about Mike Tyson. He mentioned that Mike Tyson was pretty old looking and stuff like that. He didn't feel like, it wasn't the Mike Tyson of back in the days. And he felt like Jake Paul, they said that Jake Paul carried him at the end. The same thing you said. But Jake Paul, John Jones did say that he didn't feel like Jake Paul carried him, that he was being very careful with Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson still had that one-punch knockout. So he didn't want to go all in and directly on Mike Tyson. So, I wanted to share that part with you. But Jones brought up that he developed a move he wanted to work on a move called the spinning, that spinning heel kick. And he brought up a saying that Bruce Lee said, it's the man that's dangerous is not about the man that knows 1,000 or 2,000 moves. It's a man that practiced one move 1,000 or 2,000 times. That's the dangerous man.
He's absolutely right. Right. Yeah. So you get it, you perfect it. You get it to where it's perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Yep.
Makes more sense than anything else.
So he perfected that spinning heel kick. He said he created that move because he wanted to create a move that could destroy any opponent, no matter who he faced. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up to your attention, what was as far as in professional wrestling, what was some of the easiest but powerful, but how can I say, easiest but effective move that you've seen that no matter even till one's older age, they could actually still perform? What move would you say that is in professional wrestling?
Well, let's see. It's pretty hard to say. Depending on the age. I know today I couldn't. There's no move I could do to be effective. First of all, your strength goes away as you get older. Your speed, all that. It's a combination of everything. And balance. The balance is important, and you got to. I remember I refereed. They called me about 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, to referee a match, and I hadn't been in the ring, for quite a while, and I would lose my balance in the ring, because there's a canvas there. And even stepping in the ring was so different, just like I had never wrestled, never been in the ring. There's a lot of things that it's hard to say. But if you pray, how old is Jones? Jones is not that old.
Jones, I believe he's in his late 30s, I believe.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Well, at that age, yeah, you can practice all. At 30, I was in my prime,
Right.
Most people are, Yeah, he probably had it just right, the move that if you hit the guy in the right place, it's lights out.
Yeah.
Or you quit, or you hurt, or you're, Yeah, that spinning kick, that's an effective thing. Because I watch a little bit of that stuff, over time, and you got some fighters that don't get too close. They can put that spin on you, and you'll be out in a second.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if
I remember.
practice it and his opponent doesn't know that, well,
Right.
you're probably not looking for it.
Correct. Correct. I remember there was a particular wrestler. He was saying when you develop a move, you want to do a move that you can use in your younger age, and also you can still use when you're older. And I think one of the moves was the claw, the actual claw. That one was a move that you was able to use when in your younger age or
Yeah.
your older age. I don't know about maybe the figure four. What's your thoughts about the figure four?
Figure four was if you practice the figure four, you can't come out of it. So it's one of the best moves that you probably can do in wrestling, because you can't. You can lock your leg and the guy can't get out.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Figure four was a deadly old. You were done. But you had to get the guy down and wore out to be able to apply it. You know, you didn't do it at the beginning of a match when the guy is fresh and he's still going. And if you see the guys huffing and puffing and you wear him out, and then you get him down, because you got to do it pretty quick.
Mhm.
You got to do the whole real quick. You can't be in a slow motion
Right. No, 100%.
because
100%.
they see it coming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Holes you can counter. You can counter a hole if you know a hole is coming, just by the way the guy is trying to set you up. You know, I had a hole that I like. I call it the what do I call it? Jeez, I forgot now. I had a nickname for it. The sugar hole. Sugar hole.
Okay.
Yeah, that was sweet. Put a guy out with that. But you got to set him up. He's got to be down. He's got to be on his side. And you got a guy even from college wrestling. He probably would. He'd be hard to get. You know, he'd be hard to get because you see the way you take the guy down.
Right.
There's a lot of moves like that, and you can block it. Yeah, Sugar
Gotcha.
Hole was. And if you guys had a small neck, it was not. The bigger the guy was, the more effective the hole is. It's like the
Gotcha.
leg. If you got big legs and you get in a figure four, that's going to hurt you more than if you got skinny legs. They're more limber. Some
Correct.
guys tall and everything, and their legs is not as big. Yeah, it depends on a lot of different. There's so many
Yeah.
holes, but the sugar hole, I learned that from Bob Roop. Remember Bob Roop?
Okay.
Yeah, he was an Olympic guy. Yeah,
All right.
I used to
So
work
he
out.
was a shooter. He was a shooter then.
I used to work out with him. I learned a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh
And the
wow.
sugar hole, you can take that. Like, say, for example, the guy that is now on trial. It's almost a sugar, but he got it from behind. It's a choke hole. The sugar hole turns into be you cut the blood flow going into the brain.
Oh wow.
So you can kill somebody if you do it too long. But it's
Wow.
effective, and boom, it just immobilizes them. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Bob Roop was an Olympic guy. He's a good wrestler.
Gotcha. 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 So also let me ask you, what are your thoughts as far as the sports crossing over? I know TKO owns professional wrestling and mixed martial arts, but when I mean crossing over, as far as literally doing business together, like you have the MMA world stepping into the boxing world and they putting on a big event, putting on a big show. Like, what do you think? Do you think the crossover should happen, should stay, or do you think both sides should stay on their respective side? MMA stay in the MMA world, boxing stay in the boxing world, professional wrestling stay in professional wrestling world. What are your
I,
thoughts?
I think they should stay in what the respective sport is. You know, I don't think they should cross over.
Right, right, right.
Well,
You have,
it's not the same thing. There's a lot of different rules. You know,
correct. You have a lot of
everybody wants to change everything all the time. It's progressive shit. You know, I think it's bullshit. you know, progressive. You know, everything has to change. It's ever since I was a kid, it's not the same world I'm in. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
zillions of things have changed, and it keeps going and going, and not for the best sometimes.
I know.
Not for the best. I'm not for change if it's the best. Yes, I am for that. But you got to analyze what you do before you do it, because
Right.
sometimes it doesn't work out. You know, some people have great ideas, but you don't know. You got to study it. You got to think about: is that going to work good? Is that going to be better? Is that going to be a lot of questions?
Hmm. 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 Yeah, which is true. Which is true. A lot of people wonder where all these new problems are coming from. Well, that's the
Yeah,
key word. You
you
want to
might.
do things differently.
Yeah, you might create something that's going to cause something else to, you know, the people are not going to like, or it's not going to work, or
Right. Well, well, the thing is, it's definitely it's bringing in a lot of viewership. I found even little kids who didn't know about. Yeah.
it's bringing a lot of viewership because people are curious. It might be a good thing. I don't know. It might be all
Right.
right, but only in time you'll see, if it's the right thing. Yeah,
Yep.
people want to see a whole lot of, sports, and people are curious. They want to see which one is best. And eventually you settle on something you like better, or
Right.
you get a choice. That might be good on that part. Might be good for business. I go about in life like Vince McMahon in wrestling. They all said, he's going to go bankrupt. He's going to die. He's going to be gone. But Lord of mercy, turned out he was a genius. They're making more money than people ever dreamed.
Which is true.
You
Which is
know,
true. You have a point. You definitely have a point there. I mean, oh man. Hey, listen, it's been good. I'm glad that you was able to give your intake on this weekend's fiasco as far as with the Jake Paul, the Mike Tyson, and John Jones.
well,
Stay put. Yep.
it's not a
Go ahead.
fiasco for them.
It's not. Oh, yeah. Listen, they laughing all the way to the bank. Every last one of them.
Right.
We invested our time, our emotions, our money, and they laughing into the bank, straight to the bank.
That's right.
There it is. Hey, hey. Oh man, listen. Hope you guys enjoyed this live. We're gonna cut off this live, but it's gonna continue here with Rugged Ronnie Garvin. And again, I will be uploading the interview as far as what you just heard with me, but you'll be able to see Rugged Ronnie Garvin once it's re-uploaded. But right now for the live, you're hearing the legend himself and you're seeing me. So with that being said, everybody to the live, so long. Ron, don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Let me
All
end
right.
it right here.
I'm guarded.
Oh boy. So, okay, well, it's a little bit of old news, but not for nothing. I think sometimes it's better to cover a topic once the dust settle, especially with somebody like yourself. It's one thing having your, and I'm not gonna call anybody average, but it's more exclusive when you have somebody that's been involved in the business as far as give their opinion about something, especially in the world of combat sports, whether it be mixed martial arts or boxing or wrestling, so to speak. So let's talk about the whole Jake Paul situation as far as with the Jake Paul and
Yeah,
Mike
with
Tyson.
Mike Tyson, the boxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that I don't like about Jake Paul is how he definitely stacks the deck in his favor. When you look at, don't get me wrong, he and his brother, and I don't know which one's older, which one's younger, but they're both skilled boxers, and they've got youth on their side. But sometimes I don't like the arrogantness that comes out. I've done a couple of different little deep dives just to kind of see what kind of people they are, and when I see some of the stuff that how they came to their fame was simply just posting stupid stuff and nothing but stupid stuff. But then lots of people like watching stupid stuff. So it's like, well, again, I can't fault them for taking advantage of other people, liking and subscribing and that's I would say that's on those folks. Hopefully they're of age to where they're making some type of common sense type of decision. Even saying that word. I'll say that since the elections have been over, I'm hoping that our country and the world gets a little bit more back to sanity and reality. There is still, and I'm not saying that one man, I mean, Trump's not going to be able to do it all. I mean, there's everyone's got some skeletons in their closets, but it's kind of like you always got to look at who's the lesser of the two evils. Well, you got the sad part here is like Biden's been MIA for how long now? And the fact that he's supposed to be the president, and the way that the Democratic Party went after Trump to have him take cognitive test and look at how they're propping up this guy over here who, I mean, he's a total embarrassment to himself. And I would even think that his wife and family would say, no, dad, no, my husband, no. And his wife's supposed to be a doctor?
Yeah, that's
now. I don't know if that's a doctor of whatever, but to me, it's just I just don't think that's right. I mean, you got to be able to tell. I mean, I would think that a family member of all people would be able to say, honey, you really should not be in this role anymore. And
right.
Why? But then, why has the Republicans been so weak in the sense that why didn't they go after Joe to simply say, you're incognitive, you're not capable of leading our country. You're making poor decisions that could lead us to war, to lead us to all kinds of bad things, And so again, but is our own party setting him up as the scapegoat? So you can look at it in a lot of different ways right there that of how this could play out. And will the history books truly reflect what went down? Because we have such, I'm beating up all kinds of stuff. The education in the U.S. is sad. I just happen to be in the downtown Fountain Hills area, and I happened to see this. It looked like a little education center, and I was kind of curious, so I just happened to just walk into it. But they were closing. It was a mathematic education type of thing. And I go, why? And they're like, well, there's not a real. We don't have the clientele. And
right.
Again, the hard part is that there are not a lot of young families with children in the Fountain Hills area, so that could be one of the hard things. But I was giving them praise because they were, kind of just all pigeonholed there in the sense that they were teaching just one subject, and that's mathematics. But I still look at that reading, writing, and arithmetic. Those were the three major types of things. Most kids can't write. They can't spell. They don't know what cursive means because they got the double thumb action going on the cell phone, or they type on the keyboard, or if they got something a little more advanced, they just talk into the phone.
Yeah, and the attention span is unbelievable. It only lasts like 5 seconds.
Squirrel. Yeah. Well, I mean, but you understood the moment I did that. You understood.
Yeah. So. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
The younger generation, they'll be looking like, what are those two old farts talking about? Squirrels.
Man.
I mean, there's no squirrels around here. Yeah.
They probably like, we'd rather watch paint dry instead of listen to these two guys.
Yeah. but more, I'll say middle age and older people, they'll understand exactly what we're talking about. I just talked to you about how short of attention span you do have.
Yep. This is true. So, okay. So there was a lot of theories that happened as far as with dealing with the whole, I want to go back to the Jake Paul and the Mike Tyson.
Sure.
when after the weigh-in happened, there was a particular script that was floating around. I myself, I seen that script, so I can't say allegedly. Well, you know what? Allegedly, it came from them. Let me just. But I did see a script that said that Jake Paul was going to win at the at by decision, and that Mike Tyson is going to look strong in round one and round two, I believe, which he actually looked strong in the
He
beginning
did.
of the first half. Now, this is the thing that was weird about it. If you watch it, and I've seen a lot of slow motion parts highlights to that fight. There's certain parts that Mike Tyson lunged on him, and he was about to connect, and he pulled back, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even notice that. And then there's a part that he starts getting a little, he starts throwing his combination, and you see Jake Paul lean onto him into his ear, and it looks like he's telling him, take it easy, Mike, take it easy, because the whole thing was it had to last from round 1 to 8 for Mike Tyson to get paid. If Mike Tyson threw his best punch, the deal was in the contract that Mike Tyson wasn't going to get paid that 20 million. And that's where that comes in, where what you're talking about, as far as like stacking stacking up the odds against the man. And also, I found out the ring was I believe it was a 24 by 24. It was a big
A
ring.
little bit
Normally,
bigger.
yep. So that way it allowed Jake Paul to start moving around and stuff like that. Now, back in Mike Tyson's prime era, he had the ring smaller. So that way he can get to you a whole lot faster, and it can be
Oh,
more excitement and more. So they did a lot of things, and they, instead of 10-ounce gloves, it was 14-ounce gloves. So to take away from the punch. So now
yeah.
people saying that the fight was scripted. This is my complaint about it. I know pads and punching bags don't hit back, but I seen Mike Tyson train for that fight. The aggressiveness that he had during his training, the speed and everything.
Yeah.
We
I
did
saw
not
those same
see that.
clips. Yeah.
We didn't even see that. And then it was just 4 years ago. This man that everybody calls an old man, I watched it 2 days ago. He fought Roy Jones. This man looked dangerous. He had cat-like reflexes 4 years ago. And it so happened that's where Jake Paul debuted his boxing event when he fought that basketball player and considered himself a knockout artist when he was able to knock out a basketball player. Two different sports, but I digress. So I wanted to know what was your opinion as far as with that. I don't know if you've seen the highlights or you've seen the whole thing, but there was certain things,
From
yeah, with
from
Mike Tyson
from the Jake
from the
Paul.
Tyson, Jake Paul and the Tyson fight.
Oh no, I watched the whole fight.
Okay, okay.
I mean
So
the streaming there was a lot of flaws with the streaming for whatever reason. It just kept freezing, and we had to kind of recycle it, and it was a horrible stream that we ended up having onto it. But then again, I found out it wasn't just us. A lot of people had problems streaming it. I mean, I simply look at it this way. You know, I you can't take away what Mike Tyson has done with his career. So what he did with his career was great. Um, he had poor management at the time and didn't have, I think, the guidance. He really, I mean, he was in a real pickle financially at one point where he owed the IRS millions of dollars. He went on that kind of like that comical storybook tour where he was, and I did see that, and I thought it was very well done. And he just basically talked about his story stuff. I thought it was very well done to where he made good, he made money, and he paid off his debt, and he was free and clear. So I don't know where he was at in life financially and stuff like that, but I look at this as the nice parting gift that, you know, hopefully he has good people around him now that he should be good for the rest of his life. And again, but then do something. You can't just sit around. Still go do something good with your life on top of that. I mean, so that I always look at why do so many athletes just get like these big mansions and stuff like that? To me, it's like I'm at the point that I just want to scale down to where I have a small place in Michigan. I have a small place in Arizona, and then I might have like a little cabin up in the northern part of Arizona and a little lakefront property. So that I'd rather have just the whole tiny home movement. I like that aspect.
well, now that you mentioned that, not to get personal, but I have to ask you: Do
Yeah.
you have? Is it one floor big or two, 3 floors tall as
Well,
far as your homes?
Yes, both.
Both.
Like in Arizona where I'm at right now,
Mhm.
this is all one level.
Okay.
And
Smart.
back in Michigan, there is both. Well, Michigan, that's a two-story home. It's actually three-story because there's a basement and then two levels. Um, then the cottage that I have, that's all one level. But yeah, I simply know that the reality is, as people age, they need to avoid stairs and stuff like that because the reality balance becomes an issue. I mean, you've been working with people with training for, I mean, most of your life. So, and I always say that 'cause again, when I'm in Arizona here right now, I go to the Anytime Fitness a great deal. But again, I like that gym membership because I travel so much. There is always, I don't care how big or how small a community is, there seems like there's always an Anytime Fitness. So I love it because I don't have to worry about when they open up or when they close because I have my own little key card. Boom, I'm in, get my workout, keep on going. So I do like that. There's a little plug there for Anytime Fitness.
There you go. There
You
you
know,
go.
but actually the people that where I've got my first membership was right here in Fountain Hills, and the husband and wife. I mean, he's from Iowa, a former wrestler himself, so he and I, he knew exactly who I was from my amateur wrestler days, and chit chat and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
and they're just good people, and I'll do periodic post on my own Facebook page that no prompting from them or anything like that. It's just that I appreciate the fact what they do for me, and so I do for them. That's
I
what
got
life is. Life is a two-way street, and that's what a lot of young people understand. It's like most people like, what's in it for me, 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 and then who are you? Who are you, the Lord's Deans? Who are you?
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay. So going back to the fight,
yeah.
Mike Tyson made reportedly 20 million. Jake Paul made 40 million. And actually the undercards, um, they had Amanda Serrano and Katie, Katie, I forgot her last name. It was the two females. It's Katie and Amanda Serrano. There was another good fight. That was the second time that they actually fought. Um, and
Well, I thought
Katie,
the female fight was the best.
yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go. There you
And
go.
okay, they were very aggressive, and one gal was getting mad because the other gal was
Head buddy.
headbutting. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
it's kind of fun because I'm thinking, gosh, we got two little dainty girls out there, and they're still in the show.
Yeah. 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 So I brought that up because actually I believe they both got paid. I'm not 100% sure. They both got paid 6 million. Now before
Six?
um 6 million a piece.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Um before that had before Amanda Serrano, I believe she was involved with Jake Paul. Her highest pay was in the thousands with like 50,000, 60,000, I believe. So being underneath the management of Jake Paul MVP, which is MVP promotion, that was her highest pay. The reason I bring that up is I got to give him credit with this one. I don't know what's your thoughts about him being a promoter, his promoting
No,
style.
no, no. Again,
Yeah,
that's thumbs up.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I can only give you two thumbs up. So it's again, it's like a lot of people says 5 stars. No, two thumbs up, which means no. Jake Paul, because of um, his ability and his brother's ability to through all the social media, he he moves that needle. So again, I give him kudos that while he was, he told his mom he was going to college. He wasn't going to college. He was actually working on his computer strength, stuff like that. I think at that some friend's house or something like that. And when after the 4 year time period, I think again I could be wrong, and the how some of these timetables figured out, ended up paying off his mom's mortgage and stuff like that, and so it's like
yeah,
he's showing you that he is educated in different aspects of this world. I mean, I'm sure with the money that he's bringing in, that he's got good legal people around advising him and investors and the whole 9 yards, so that he and his brother, family, and all members should never want for anything.
Right, right.
One of the things I did not like was when the fight was over. Again, is Jake the older one or is the other one?
Logan Paul, he wrestles for WWE. He's the older one. He's I think 32 or 30. I think maybe 32 or 34. And Jake Paul. I'm sorry, that's the younger one. That's the one who fought Mike Tyson. Logan Paul, that's the older brother. He's 34 or 36, if I'm not mistaken, around that ballpark.
Okay.
Yeah. So
which
he's
makes
a professional wrestler.
That makes sense because I mean it's do they have any other brothers or sisters that you're aware of?
No, I don't think it's just those two.
No, again, I just simply see that I mean they're both very supportive of each other. They're both in the same wheelhouses. I just wasn't too keen on when basically the boxing match was over. Then all of a sudden you had Logan wanting to fight Mike Tyson, and I'm like, it was. I was feeling sad for Mike in the last couple of rounds because you could see where his one leg was just giving out, and I'm thinking, did he get hurt just before, or was there an injury that was sustained and it just kind of finally, or was it cardiovascular? I don't know, because like as you said earlier, from all the clips that we saw him training, oh my God, he just was looking so sharp, so crisp, so powerful. I'm thinking, he's gonna eat. He's gonna eat Jake's lunch out there. Yeah.
Well, now here's the thing too. With that knee brace, I know as far as dealing in boxing myself, they always used to tell me right before a fight, if you have an injury, never show it. Like don't wear a knee brace, don't wear nothing on your arm or whatever the case is, because what's that's going to show? If the fighter that you're fighting is wise, he's going to play towards that side. If he sees you have a bad left leg, he's going to continuously move on your left side. Why? Because once he throws a punch and he moves on your left side, it's going to be hard for you to reset to counter that punch. So and a smart fighter would know that. So for Mike Tyson, being a veteran that he is, this is why I'm thinking, was that leg injury for real? And again, hey, sports entertainment, WWE. He was walking down he was walking down to the arena and he tripped, and that was one of the most talked about things. It's like, oh my God, could Mike Tyson even make it to the ring? Because he ended up tripping to the ring, and I was like, he's selling that leg. He's selling that leg, the knee brace, which was a weird thing. We don't do that in boxing, and I didn't see that knee brace when he was training. I only seen it maybe once, but then I didn't see it for the rest of the time. So I'm like,
Yeah, no, again, I saw just all kinds of just articles being posted about, being at work and things of that nature. But, like I said, it's I look at it as like a parting gift for Mike Tyson, and hopefully this will last him as he slowly rides off into the West. So again, I appreciate a lot of stuff that he's done earlier in his career. So, and the funniest meme I seen on the whole deal, it showed a picture of Mike Tyson and Kamala Harris, and they were doing it. Mike's like, we both lost. You owe 20 million. I made 20 million.
Oh shoot! Wow! Hey, that's true.
So I mean, it was kind of, because, okay, what did she blow through in her political campaign? I believe she blew through $1 billion. $1 billion. And I was on a podcast a few days ago, and it was great because they're doing a competition with this podcast. But the question, because they had 3 guests on at a time, 2 other people, myself, and they just simply asked if you could make one change about our government to make it better, what would it be? And I go, and he asked me, and I'm thinking, I go, 1, I go, I'll give you 3 right off the get-go. I go, first off, bring back fact checking, period, to all of our media outlets. So the moment that people are starting to say something, something could be posted because we got AI in the whole nine yards ready to go lie, lie, lie. I mean, so that if you did, the only person that would be objective to fact checking is the liar. That's how.
Correct.
Otherwise, everyone will want fact check. But if you put in fact checking, term limits too, for all positions too, because Lawrence, how much money can you steal in 8 years before you have to go back and live amongst your peers? And
it's true.
And the third one, put a cap on all political campaigns. Like, again, I'm just going to pull out a silly number, $1 million. Each person only gets $1 million on their budget. Because when you look at what everyone blew between presidentials, between Congress, the whole nine yards, how many billions of dollars were wasted on all these untrue advertisements? Again, fact checking would just crush a lot of nuts out there in the first place. And that's what I said. I call it the trifecta. You put those three little rules into place. Hopefully Trump and some other political figures see this and go, maybe we should implement these things.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the things. Hey, after all, he did coin the phrase "what fake news," so we know he's he's definitely one that's for fact checking. Definitely, he's been the victim of non-fact checking.
Yeah.
So yeah. So okay, I know earlier you mentioned about the streaming, and I too was haven't had issues with the streaming as far as watching Netflix. The reason I bring that to your attention, WWE, as far as this month, I believe they're going to actually start streaming for Raw every Monday. Do you feel like that's going to be an issue, or do you think that's something that possibly going to get fixed, or do you think, because I believe, not for nothing, that fight came on the same day SmackDown. I need to see the actual amount of viewers, but I believe the Jake Paul fight, more people watch the Jake Paul fight than they watch WWE SmackDown. I believe more people watch that. So,
but like I said, you got Logan that he does his professional stint there as well. So maybe there'll be more things that be coming to light. It's why I see where social media, it's a big marketing area, because even when I've been to Vegas, I've been to a couple of the UFC Apex shows, and there's a whole area. I mean, what I like, and I like the Apex shows way more than I like going to the big arenas, because you feel a very like intimate type of surroundings, because there's such few or less people in there,
right?
And I mean, the fighters are still getting after each other, but there's just such a much more cozy feeling. But one whole segment is full of social media influencers, and I mean that's where I should say I should say Dana White, he recognizes that. I mean, even through the political campaign, the fact that Joe Rogan doing an interview with Trump got more views than some of these networks. I mean, that just that shows you that people are tired of listening to certain networks, news networks, because they're not being honest. And I think when your ratings are starting to tank, it's not because of your personality. It's the content that you're spewing out.
Correct.
If you're not being truthful to people, and you're trying to say, "Hey, it's a nice sunny day. It looks like rain." No, it's a sunny day. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so moving forward now, we had that same weekend, which was last Saturday. Again, I know it's old news. By the time this come out, it'll definitely be old news.
Yeah, but still, a lot of people like to understand different people's opinions on the take, because I'm not from the world of boxing. I'm from the world of mixed martial arts. But I was not my strength was not of the striking aspect. I was more the grappler aspect. So
there you go. So we had in UFC 309, We had the GOAT is still king. John
Yep.
Jones retained the heavyweight title on
Yep.
Saturday night at Madison Square Garden in New York in thrilling fashion against former title holder Stipe Miocic.
Yep.
Jones put Miocic away with a vicious spinning back kick to the ribs that sent Miocic straight to the canvas and unable to continue. It was beautiful finish for the most decorated champion in the sport's history, and a bit vindication after many were left disappointed in how quickly Jones' dispatch of Sorrel Gain last year to claim the title. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name up too much. Um, but now, what was your thoughts? Because as far as how that fight ended, as far as with Jones with that thing.
John Jones is a talented athlete. I mean, he's just talented. I mean, you look at, I think he was the most vicious person in the beginning, throwing spinning back fists, then spinning back elbows, to where he just, that's some great timing. And then to come up with that spinning back heel kick. Oh my God, I can't even imagine what that's got to feel like to a person's rib cages. I mean, you probably caved in a couple ribs, and who knows about the lung, but the impact. So a very, very talented athlete that his biggest obstacle that has been in his life is his own self, because he just has made some poor decisions in his personal life, and to me it's like going, hopefully he's matured a little bit more and learned from these mistakes, and then he's on the right path. But I mean, as a talent in that cage, there's no one like him, and in the professional wrestling sense right now, what a babyface move he made at the end by giving Trump the belt, getting out there doing the little Trump shuffle and stuff like that. I mean, I looked at that as the most babyface move in the world, and the people loved it.
Yep. Do you think now, because now that his I guess it's safe to say his career is not dwindling, but he's at the end now. He's reaching at the end now. Do you feel like?
Do you think
a lot?
Really?
Well, I mean, I don't know. He's had quite a few fights. Right now, he's looking to do certain more fights. He's not looking to take on a whole bunch of fights right now.
We'll go back to what we talked about before. I hope he has surrounded himself with some good people, that he's made lots of money. I hopefully that he's saved some of this money. He's invested some of this money. He's got this money into some real estate and some other things that will take him on into his older life. I mean, so I just hope that he's become wiser and in all aspects of life.
Right. I mean, the question that they was asking as far as for that fight that he was recently in UFC 309, they asked, was it because of his skill set that he was able to beat Miocic, or was it the fact that Miocic has been in a lot of wars and it's been taking its toll on him and his body is aging pretty much, that right now it's like you didn't really beat a guy that he was at 100% type thing. That was one of the questions that they raised. I don't know what's your thoughts about that.
You could raise a question like that, but I still say that people understand what leg kicks, whether they take their leg and they kick you in the leg, or if they take that leg and they kick you in the rib, the head, or something of nature. I mean, you gotta look at a leg versus an arm, and when you throw a spin, the torque, the weight, the momentum, and all that you get going, and you get hit by that shin, or I mean, you're getting hit with a big solid bone type of thing, but that spinning back heel kick, I just can't, because I know in some of my matches I've stomped some people because it used to be like barefoot, and so going out there stomping, and I look for the arch of that foot toward knowing just stomp on a toe, sure, it's going to hurt, but if you stomp on the big bow type archery, you could break their foot. And then incapacitate them to where how well can they move now if you break that arch and they're trying to move around that ring. So again, they're just looking at doing this stuff like that. So it's like, but it was a different era at that point. I mean, but I really think you could still stop the foot even now. I don't think that has been taken out. I know there's like 46 or 48 rules today, but like, back in that no holds barred era, just the two basic rules of no biting, no aggression. That was it. So, and even then, those were not those, you did not get disqualified for that. Big John might come over there and just slap your hand there, Lawrence, and just say, don't do that again, and give him his eyeball back. You can't take it off for a souvenir.
There you go. Oh, okay. I mean, now in not so good news in the world of MMA, we have Conor McGregor. The 36-year-old athlete was accused in a civil suit brought forward in 2021 of brutally raping and battering a woman named Nikita Han while she was intoxicated in December 2018 after she invited McGregor to join her and a friend at a company holiday party in Dublin. A civil jury determined that McGregor was liable of sexual assaulting Han and has been ordered to pay damages to her totaling nearly 257,000 in US dollars, according to the Associated Press and the Guardian. Okay, lawyers for Han claimed that the woman was left in with bruises and post-traumatic stress disorder after the assault. She also accused a friend of McGregor, James Lawrence, of assaulting her on the night in question. Found Lawrence did not assault her, according to the Guardian. So right now we have McGregor involved in the situation now.
Okay, now, in the Reader's Digest form here right now, you said that Conor McGregor and the friend assaulted her, or just Conor McGregor?
Well, they said Conor McGregor and the friend, but they said, okay, the lawyer had claimed that the woman was left with bruises and traumatic disorder. So she also accused the friend of Conor McGregor, James Lawrence, of assaulting her on the night in question. Found Lawrence did not assault her, according. So they found out it wasn't. He's
okay, so yeah, she tried to allege there was two of them, but now it's all just being thrown out to Conor McGregor. Okay, I can check this.
Yeah.
And well, again, I mean, Conor in the beginning was a baby face. When he first came into business of MMA, I mean, he was just happy to be involved in something. He was happy that he won, and he, after his first victory or two, I mean, he was happy to be off Ireland's version of welfare, because I mean, he was not well off at all, and with each progressive fight, I think he started to hear that crowd, so he understood how to work that crowd and to take on that role of being either that baby face or the heel. He chose more of the heel route, because you look at a lot of these weigh-ins or at these post-match interviews or pre-fight type interviews, how he was being very condescending to others, or the way that he would dress, and he'd have his sunglasses on, and just making, well, I mean, belittling comments, even though I thought some of them were just absolutely hilarious. Okay. But, he had a good way of getting under his opponent's skin. And then some of the others, to where it's like going, not only am I getting under the skin of my opponent right now, but I got two or three other people I'm lining up for down the road, to where he made himself controversial enough to where lots of people wanted to know, what is this guy up to next? It's like, I'm watching a train wreck, and you can't take your eyes off, because you want to see the train wreck. on top of it all. It's you don't want to see it, but you gotta go. I still gotta peek. I still gotta look. So I mean, he's done very well for himself financially. I mean, he owns mansions back in Ireland. He owns mansions, I think, in California. I hope he's got things well invested. I mean, but he's made so much money that I would hope that he has good people around him that he should never want for anything down the road. I mean, I have no idea. Is the man married? Does he have any children? I know none of those aspects about his life whatsoever.
Right. So okay, so the more you get successful in the business, any business, like as far as you was involved in mixed martial arts and you was involved in pro wrestling, like
yeah, but I'll still halt you there because I always tell people that professional wrestling, and I've said this in so many different interviews, but I'm still going to say it here even right now. Professional wrestling is the absolute worst industry that I have ever been involved in. It just because it's the world of fantasy. But I always tell people don't say it's fake because you can't defy gravity out there. Picking people up and then slamming them back down, that's called gravity, and that's called being impact. You understand the industry. Most of the wrestlers, they refer to that each time that they fall down, they refer to it as taking a bump or bumping. Well, in the martial arts world, they call that break falls. So that you want to try to hit as much, you want to hit your as much body mass as possible so that you can dissipate that impact. And you want to know so that as you're falling backwards, try to tuck your chin to your chest so your back of your head, because there are good rings and there's some really crappy rings to wear. And I mean, there's where people have, screws are coming up out of the plywood and stuff like that has been screwed into the 2x10s or 2x12s underneath there. This is nothing but 2x10s, 2x12s, and then plywood that's across there. So it's not like there's a spring. It's just like picking a man up and boom. They might stick a microphone or something like that underneath there so that it accentuates the sound or something like that. But it's still the people that are closer to the ring, they hear much more of that impact than that. So it's I try to always protect the industry and say that sure, you and I, if we're in that ring, we know who's going to win by what, but you and I still have to fill in that window of time. They might say, okay, Lawrence Deans and you and Dan Severn have got to go out there and you got to put in a 10-minute match, and Lawrence, you go over, but you got to go over with a dirty finish because we want to try to keep Dan looking strong as a baby face. Okay, and so boom, we go out there and pull the trunks while you're doing something else there towards like, I could complain to the referee, but again, referees in the professional wrestling world always seem to be like the dumbest referees because they never see anything now, do they?
No, they don't.
But that's part of their job, though. Okay,
right,
so
right. There you go. But I mean, the question I wanted to ask you: do you start having trust issues the further you climb up the ladder and the more successful you become? As far as now, your circle is getting smaller and smaller. You avoid the public eye only if you have shows or events that you have to attend to. But as far as to leave yourself out there in the public continuously, do you shy away from those things?
I think a lot of that boils down to how, I mean, it's the character that you're portraying out in the ring is one aspect, or out in the media, one aspect. What are you really like behind the curtain, stuff like that? Some of the wrestlers soon forget where does fantasy end and reality begin, and they really start to bleed in some of the smoke that's been blown up their own rectum in the process. It's an industry involved in a lot of narcotics. Again, a lot will start off just with pain because each time that I take that bump, I get picked up and I do body slam, and that it's are these athletes, are they getting a massage? Are they getting any kind of medical care afterwards? Are they doing hyperbaric chambers? Are they doing any stem cells? What are they doing to kind of help recuperate? It is a rather grueling schedule because every month, all of these house shows are leading up to that monthly pay-per-view. And they have what is it, like 7 or 8 different matches on there, knowing that we have 7 or 8 different storylines taking place, because we simply know from the professional business, someone's going to get hurt between now and the next pay-per-view.
Right.
So we can't just marquee one match and then someone gets hurt and now that marquee match is gone. You simply know that we got these 6 or 7 other stories that are going along there with it. The show must go on. And then we'll come up with some other angle and try to fix this match the best we can. But that's where there is a real science and a real business and beauty understanding of working together. I was very impressed because when I first went to work for WWF, now it was WWE, just so impressed. At the very first shows, I got there nice and early, and to see, like, I think there's like 4 or 5 tractor trailers that were there. And I mean, all these, the staffers, I mean, it's like watching a military operation, because all the way that they had to run all these cables to and fro, and where they've got a security guard back there to where the talent, they let them know where the talent's supposed to be parking to. And I get parked, and as I walk up in there, they just take a piece of paper and tape, and they just tape it on the door. And as soon as you walk in there, it's kind of like going, Vince's office is this way, talent locker room is this way, cafeteria this way, and makeup, and I mean, it's so impressive how I mean, they're not damaging anything. And if they're going to be using a lot of pyrotechnics that night, they got to bring the fire department in earlier to show them, so that they can show that they got everything set up properly. It's meeting all the different senses of code. It is a very impressive operation, and I can't even imagine what the cost factor is to have this crew that literally, as people are sleeping, the show's over, they're tearing things on down. They're packing on up and they're heading someplace else, because they're so good at doing a Monday night one show, and then the Tuesday night one's live, and one is being taped. So and then then these guys are off on these different, flying overseas here, flying overseas there, doing certain things for the troops. I always thought when they did certain shows for the troops, I always thought that was pretty classy, because the troops get a chance now to meet a lot of these guys and chit chat and have dinner with them, and there's a lot of good things that come from it. Even though Vince has been in a lot of the news media for other things, but it's
yeah. That's
overall the product, it's a good product, and there's a lot of great charitable type of things that company has done for charities, because they do a lot of things with children's hospitals, and when these superstars go in and they can see these kids, their eyes just light on up. So I mean, there's a lot of great things that they do.
Do you feel like the business, from how it was before, relying on one sole individual, like the Hulk Hogan, like it thrived? If Hulk Hogan was there, the business went well. When they called it WrestleMania, it was called Hulk Hogan versus whoever. But now it transformed from the business being on a particular wrestler's back to now the company is the superstar itself. Yeah. So they could take they could take somebody who's a superstar, and something could happen to that person, and they could create another superstar overnight. So do you feel like it was better the way it was before, like with an individual being the superstar and everybody's coming to see that's the celebrity, or people coming to see the product itself?
Now, there's pros and cons to both aspects, because the con would be, what if they get hurt? That's the biggest thing. So from a business perspective, it's better that they have multiple oars in the water, so that you got so many different storylines, and some people might like this person over that person. So to me, the company wins and the fans win, because there's always going to be most of all the people that they're hoping to see. So I just think that because you'd have like a unusual freak like an Andre the Giant. I mean, there'll never be another Andre the Giant. So, those were some freaky stuff. Again, that's what can Hulk Hogan get Andre off his feet? Because that was what the whole match was. one body slam, and the leg drop and the pin, that type of thing. So again, that's where, I mean, when you really look at the whole match really kind of sucked, but it was like, but again, they told the story the right way. So that is one of the things that I do like about professional wrestling, because you could be hurt or something like this, and there's ways of disguising these injuries to where you still pull off a nice match. And again, that's all back to the professionalism that this company has done. Because I always make the comment that they've got these seamstresses there, they've got makeup artists there. You could show up, Lawrence, and you could have lost your costume from the night before. They've got 2 seamstresses right there. They're going to be whipping that new costume for it that will be done and ready. If you haven't been to sleep yet, they've got makeup people that are dusting the circles out from ready. They're sobering you up. They're going to do everything except wrestle the match. But on the Tuesday night taping, they can even wrestle the match for you too. So they can edit out all the bad stuff.
They're so good they could even make Joe Biden look lively.
That's a miracle, yeah.
Oh man, listen, it's been another great one. You had fun?
Oh no, of course. Lord, it's always good to speak to you, because you got a good soul to you, and it's easy to carry on a conversation. So,
thank you, I appreciate it. You too, likewise.